I guess it's easy in hindsight, but I feel like...
Dude, oh, this is like the worst cover-up ever. Oh my, I really... Hello, Halfpint here, and I just wanted to say real quick, if you've been enjoying my content, please remember to subscribe to the channel here on YouTube and follow me on Twitch so you can always catch us when we're live and see more content. Also, if you are new here, welcome in, and if you're enjoying the video, please remember to like it because it helps me out a lot. I also post funny clips and other things on TikTok. All the links are in the description below, and thanks again. Now let's get into the video. So we're gonna jump in. We're gonna take a look at the Alex Murdaugh trial. Charlie made a video about it. Man is pure evil. I'm inclined to agree, just based off of the bits and pieces I've seen in the last couple weeks covering it. It's a really interesting perspective offered on, you know, where nepotism can get people in the matter of a couple of generations, you know. And why nepotism is wrong, you know, why you can't just rely on, like, yeah, it's so weird that we even have to say this, why you can't just give the keys to an entire town to one family and just assume it's going to be fine.
My family's house for dinner a couple nights ago, and my father was raving and couldn't stop talking about a case I'd never heard of that apparently is just wrapped up. The Alex Murdaugh murder case.
I can't believe he had not heard of this trial at all. That's a little disappointing, I'll be honest. But, like, yeah, this shit was absolutely insane. What was he? He was an attorney general, something like that.
And in fact, it extends beyond that. The entire Murdaugh family murders. This is a very high-profile case that I just hadn't heard of until my father started lecturing me on it like I had just taken a criminology course. He apparently followed every single piece of evidence that dropped. He watched every trial, everything. My dad...
It was his Twitch.
Studied the tits off of this case like he was going there to prosecute Alex Murdaugh himself. And it piqued my interest. It made me want to learn more about it. So I went to the best goddamn channel on YouTube for things like this. Legal Eagle. Legal Eagle recently made a full, beautiful breakdown going over every single piece of evidence and every single key point in the entire Murdaugh history. So I'm going to put a link to that in the description, but I just kind of wanted to share it with all of you because this is one of the more deep and disturbing cases I've learned about in quite a while.
And what sucks about this case, too, is, like, you know, he was just saying there, like, this is one of the more deep and disturbing cases I've learned about. This exists all over our country, in terms of, like, nepotism, in the government or in businesses. It's huge. It's huge. I mean, we about had an election a few years back, that was going to be between Bush and Clinton again. But a different Bush and a different Clinton, you know? If you look at the schools that all politicians go to, it's a very small group. If you look at the social circles that they actually run in, they're a lot smaller than you'd probably think. Like, these people actually know each other very well in their formative years and coming up. Everyone is related or knows someone. It's no accident.
So I just wanted to share kind of the gist of it with all of you. But I highly recommend watching Legal Eagle's video on it if you want to learn the most about it and see how everything unfolded. You see the Murdaugh murders. So my dad just told me about that. I didn't know anything about it. And he was apparently embezzling money for a long time, a pathological liar, an oxy
also a murderer. He was a murderer.
Addict. And he snapped and killed his son and wife. My dad was telling me
it seems like he killed a couple people before that, possibly, too.
All about it, apparently. Or, not apparently. My dad was telling me all about it. Apparently, it was a wild case, and I didn't hear shit about it. Yeah, apparently the prosecutors had a video that the son had recorded that showed...
It was on Snapchat. So it was basically, from what I understand and remember, his wife and child were found dead by him near the chicken coops on his property and he reported it some hours after they had actually died. They were asking, why wasn't this reported initially? He was saying he wasn't actually with them. He had just found out, and he called as soon as he knew. And through checking cell phone data on his wife and son throughout the day of, the day they died, there was a video posted to Snapchat or recorded via Snapchat on his son's phone that clearly showed or you could hear his voice, Alex Murdaugh's voice, in the video talking to his wife and son. And this was at the chicken coops. So it at least showed that he was lying about not being with them that day, which already that points to a guilty conscience.
Proved that Alex Murdaugh was lying about his whereabouts on the night of the murders. So I guess the story was they were killed at like the dog kennels on their property.
Oh, dog kennels. I'm sorry. I thought it was chicken coops. It was dog kennels.
Murdaugh claimed that he wasn't there that night at the kennels, and he had like a couple alibis because they had his whole phone record. Apparently, he called a ton of people to try and get a couple alibis. And eventually, the prosecutors showed a video that his son had recorded literally minutes before he was murdered. His son he killed...
Wow, I didn't realize it was minutes before. That's insane. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude.
Also got in a boat accident that killed a girl named Mallory Beach.
Yeah,
and also was the only witness to his housekeeper dying, and he embezzled her life insurance. Oh, what the fuck?
Close. Los Angeles area double murder expert O.J. Simpson predicted that the Alex Murdaugh jury would acquit the Low Country lawyer of double murder. It turns out that Simpson's powers of prognostication don't really work for murders he wasn't involved in.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if this guy beats this case.
So before I explain...
It's crazy.
Why would he even open his mouth about that? Like, I feel like that's just OJ trying to stay relevant and trying to like keep a following. Like, why would you? Oh my god, dude, just stop. He's gonna beat it. Dude, you don't know.
We have OJ Simpson on Twitter dropping reaction videos.
Yeah, what the hell is happening, dude?
Giving his opinion on how
murder trials
could potentially beat their case.
That's crazy.
That blows my mind.
Randolph Murdaugh Sr. was elected solicitor in 1920 and served until he was killed by a freight train in 1940.
What?
Sounds like a murder. That sounds like an actual old Western murder.
No, what the fuck? What do you mean killed by a freight train? What happened? You can't just say something like that without any sort of follow-up. I assume that was even rare back then. Or at least not super common. Maybe it was. I don't know. That's fucking wild.
They tied him to the train tracks. Don't know the situation. It literally just sounds like he was murdered.
Dude got Dick Dastardly.
Some people suspected that the freight train incident was a suicide because no one could figure out why Randolph's car stalled on the tracks. But Murdaugh Sr. was succeeding.
How about why he wouldn't get out of the car? Why would he not get out of the car? Most people would get out of the car. Why is the question like, it could have been a suicide. Why would his car start on the tracks? It could have been a suicide because he didn't get out of the car. Or it could have been foul play because he didn't get out of the car. Was he tied up? You're like, what the was he knocked out? Like, oh my god. Wow, they really were. Dude, I can't even imagine. 1940, like crime. They ask one question. And then they don't even try and answer it. Like, could have been a suicide. Yeah, it could have been, I guess. Huh. And they just leave it there. Oh my god.
Defeated by his son, Randolph Murdaugh Jr., known as Buster, who held the position for 46 years
from
nickname. 1942. On two separate occasions, 20 years apart, he told jurors that if they didn't impose the death penalty on a criminal defendant, he would use his power as solicitor to release other rapists into the community. Yes, you heard that right.
Like, I I want to like laugh and say like, oh my god, that's crazy, that's so crazy, oh my god. But like at the same time, this family was in charge of this entire area for so long, because of money and connections and influence. Like that's absolutely fucked. It's literally like Pawnee, Indiana, where Sweetums is like threatening to bankrupt an entire town if they don't get their way. It's like that. If I don't get my way, I will actually make this place a hellscape.
It's hard to imagine a worse thing a prosecutor could say in court, but I'm sure prosecutors have.
And he got to keep the position.
Oh my, yeah.
He would make these threats like, okay, if he doesn't get the death penalty, 5 rapists will go into Gotham. He sounds like the Joker. What? Elected official, so he just campaigns and pays off the right people. Yeah, but I'm sure there's still systems in place where if you're threatening to release rapists out of like a grudge, you can get fired. Like,
apparently
you can get, like,
not.
Taken out.
Apparently not. Apparently not if you're in a small enough area with the big enough connections and enough money. I would love to think that's the way it works, Charlie. I think a lot of us would love to think that's the way it works, but like this is living proof that it can go on not only for years, but it can go on for generations. So apparently not.
Like you lose your position, I would think.
You'd hope. I believe Buster's Alex's dad.
Use the same tactic.
Alex Murdaugh, the now convicted murderer, is Randolph III's son.
Right.
All of this information is to show you that the entire Murdaugh line is fucking evil, basically.
Yeah.
Now that you're brought up to speed on where Alex Murdaugh comes from, let's talk about...
But how could, like, I feel like it's so easy for a family to get evil under those under a situation like that. I'm not saying it happens every time, but I'm saying, like, if one person works really, really hard in your family a long time ago, and they build from, like, the ground up, and they achieve something great, that's awesome. They're likely to still hold some opinions of on the way up. Hopefully, ideally, they have perspective at the very least. But the next generation, their children, are going to be born into a world of privilege, and through the social Galapagos effects are going to have an ignorance to that entire other way of life on the way up that their parents had. Obviously there will be some disconnected parenting because of that, but like, so that's one removed. Okay, now the second generation. And also when you have a thing running on nepotism, it's even more than just a privilege, right? It's even more than just the privilege of the money. You're also being given this job. This guy had to like work his ass off, learn these things, do the footwork to earn that position and do that position, quote unquote, well. Son is just trusted to do a good job because he was raised by someone who did a good job. But oftentimes doing a good job at that first thing means not spending a whole lot of time with your son. Begs the question, what is this logic? But they don't care. So son's now taking over. That's terrible. That's actually terrible. It should never work that way. And with each generation, it's just gonna get slightly worse and worse, where you're just like trusting that, like, I don't know, over dinner he's teaching him how to do his job, or like, you know, because he interned when he was like a fuckboy college kid, he with his dad, he understands what's going on. Like, it's literally such bullshit. It's nothing other than a family trying to maintain a sphere of influence and a stranglehold on an area, and I really don't understand how it gets seen as anything but that.
About his kids, because his kids are no saints. Legal Eagle goes into more detail surrounding some of these cases, but I'd just like to give you a quick breakdown. If you want more information, obviously watch his video on it. But one of Alex's sons, Buster, who is named after, of course,
fucking Buster
Murdaugh, who came before him, is actually a person of interest in a 2015 death. A young man named Stephen Smith was found dumped on a Hampton County road.
Yes!
There wasn't a whole lot of indicators
yes.
to suggest that this was a vehicle crash, and in fact was even ruled a homicide by a couple of people, most notably the county coroner.
This is one thing that also blew my mind. It was a murder, okay? They found a child on the side of a road. They ruled it as a homicide. They stopped investigating. What? That's crazy. I feel like when children get murdered, it's a freaking manhunt. But if I remember right, it was a child of color, which, if we're being honest, matters a lot in terms of how much the public is going to care, how much the news is going to report on it, and how much outrage there might actually be to do something. So there was that. And then obviously if a Murdaugh was tied into it, they might have paid for the investigation to be quiet. We don't know.
And interestingly, Buster Murdaugh is mentioned dozens of times in the investigation. Also, Alex Murdaugh and his brother Randy visited the crime scene, passing through the crime scene tape. And there were rumors that Buster Murdaugh and Stephen Smith were in some kind of relationship. And this case actually just got reopened after the entire Alex Murdaugh investigation.
Shit.
So that's all a bit peculiar. That doesn't seem good. Something smells very fishy over there with Buster Murdaugh. And he's not the only one. In fact, Alex Murdaugh's other son, Paul. In 2019, Paul and his friends were partying on a boat. At one point, his friends say Paul and his girlfriend got in an argument where Paul assaulted her. And then eventually the night culminated with the boat crashing, everyone surviving except one person, Mallory Beach. Paul was blamed for the death because he was fucking driving the boat. He received...
Oh, I thought that was Alex, not Paul. Okay. Wow, they literally all suck. That's insane.
2 charges, 1 boating under the influence causing great bodily harm, and 1 boating under the influence causing death. So as you can see, the Murdaugh family is known for more than just financial crimes. There's a lot of death linked to the family as well. And there's still more. There's still one that I haven't even talked about, one that happened before Alex Murdaugh killed his son and wife. In 2018, their housekeeper Gloria Satterfield allegedly tripped over one of their dogs and fell down the stairs and died at their hunting lodge. Alex Murdaugh then instructed Gloria Satterfield's sons to sue him for insurance money. However, he neglected to inform them that he had already collected on 2 settlements and basically robbed them of about $4.3 million from the insurance here. The man is just pure evil, just a shriveled, pruny, fucking ghost-looking motherfucker whose entire bloodline seems...
Oh my god, dude. Yeah, no, I feel like this tracks. Like the first one, all we really know about him is he might have killed himself or was murdered via train. That's it. Second one, pretty whack, threatened the community to release criminals, violent sexual criminals, back into the community if he didn't get his way on rulings of cases. Third one, allegedly murdered his housekeeper. Almost for certain murdered his wife and son, and then went on to have 2 sons that one is tied up in a murder investigation, another one recklessly drove a boat drunk and actually got someone killed. And like, just imagine, just keep drawing the line, right? Because if none of this would have happened, one of his sons would have taken over without a doubt. One of those 2 people. And your options there are someone who literally drove a boat drunk and got someone killed in a tragic crash that is infinitely avoidable, and the other is involved in a murder investigation. This is why nepotism is inherently a broken system. And we understand this generally. I mean, like, just because, like, it's the dumbest thing ever, all right? Like, just because your dad is, like, a construction worker or whatever doesn't mean you're really good at construction, you know? Like, everyone understands this. Like, if your dad does, or like, if your mom does fucking accounting, right? If she's, like, an accountant and she's doing, like, crazy math and stuff and, like, working with clients' monies and shit, that doesn't mean any of her children are also just going to be really good at math or also are all going to be accountants. That's crazy. But for some reason, when it comes to these high profile positions that actually have great influence in our communities, we're willing to throw all of that out the window and just be like, ah, yes, another Clinton or another Bush. Yes, I love them. Like, that's crazy, dude. That's absolutely crazy.
Seems cursed and is nothing but bad.
And it's not to say that there can't be two people of the same family or multiple people in one family that are good at something. It's just like the rate at which it's not happening that way and is happening in the just by association way is staggering, and it leads to problematic and horrible situations like this where communities truly suffer and individuals get hurt, sometimes even murdered.
Bad news. It is disgusting.
His lawyer said he planned to sue Alex and Maggie personally because they allegedly kept a beer refrigerator at the hunting lodge and underage kids were free to drink up. Given the scale of Alex's financial crimes, discovery of his assets would have revealed years of Murdaugh's criminality. Later that same night, Alex allegedly found Paul and Maggie dead outside the kennels at the Murdaugh's sprawling hunting estate.
I'm really trying to break this down into the most concise form possible.
What is a hunting estate? Is that just like a giant chunk of land you own just specifically to go kill stuff on? That's weird. So it's like buying a plot of nature just to kill stuff.
Possible, just to convey like the general story of the situation, but again, I can't recommend checking out Legal Eagle's full video on it for the absolute best breakdown. In a nutshell, years and years and millions upon millions of dollars of stolen money and financial crimes were about to be brought to light, all of which Alex Murdaugh was panicked about. So the main theory behind his motive for killing Paul and his wife Maggie is he needed some way of buying time to weasel his way out of this situation. I shit you not.
What? I'm trying to understand. Did he steal from really rich people in America? Because, like, unless he stole from the ultra rich, I don't understand how he could get out of a financial crime by escalating it to a murder investigation that he would obviously, like, anytime a spouse is murdered, they look at the spouse first. So that's like crime 101. Yeah, that makes no sense to me. I will never in a million years understand how he thought he was going to get out of one crime by committing two more on his property with people that would have certainly warranted an investigation directly into him. I don't understand this at all. I almost wish I had like a video of him like walking us through, like an explore with us video of him like talking to the police and just being like, so this was my thought process. I know it doesn't make any sense, but I just gotta hear it. Like, why did you think murdering two people would ever get you out of a financial crime?
The murder of his son, Paul, and wife, Maggie.
Two people who almost for certain had nothing to do with the financial crime or its investigation.
Right now, the leading theory is he did it for sympathy, to portray himself as a victim, and to basically just buy himself some extra time to get out of the situation because all of these financial crimes that have built up over years were about to be fucking blasted publicly. All of it was going to come to light. So that was his plan. Now, Paul was murdered before he ever stood trial for the death of Mallory Beach. But I'm getting a little ahead of the story because there was one other baffling situation that occurred involving a hired hitman that Alex himself hired to shoot and kill him so his other son could get his insurance money.
So Alex admitted to stealing from Chris and blamed his behavior on an opioid addiction. And then hours later, that same day after that conversation with Chris, Alex was shot in the head. Yes. Seriously. Does this seem like a far-fetched Netflix series yet?
So, now we're at the part.
What? Okay. He hired a hitman to shoot himself so his son could claim his life insurance. This actually does just sound like someone who was spiraling really, really, really hard. Holy shit. And had control of a town.
Part that I know. Everything that preceded this, fucking wild. No clue. But now we're getting into the part that my dad was talking about, and now I'm kind of in the know on where all this goes. Chat just educated me about this, so I have the spoilers here. But I guess I won't drop the spoilers. But I
don't
see
do that.
now what has happened and
I don't.
how things have got to this point.
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
Alex later admitted that he hired his cousin Eddie to shoot him.
Yep.
Okay,
Alex's
that's not a hitman. Come on, don't just throw around the term hitman when he hired his cousin Eddie. That's just hiring a guy to shoot you. All right, let's not let the word hitman lose all weight and credibility, okay? You can't just toss out that word. That makes it sound like he went to some bar I've never heard of, like from fucking Deadpool, and there was some dude with most of his face covered sitting in a darkly lit booth, you know, drinking some drink that actually tastes like jet fuel and would make most of us just puke immediately. He's like drinking that and thinking about how much he fucking hates his life. And then some dude's like, "Are you the guy?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he like hires him to like shoot him. Only like obviously because this man's a fucking hitman and he takes his shit seriously, you would have to have your face covered and give him a picture of you and be like, "That's the guy." You know, like you have like, if he knows you're being hired, he's being hired to kill you. He's like, "How the fuck am I gonna, okay, what the fuck is all this?" You know, like it's weird. So like, I'm thinking this is the sort of situation that played out. And then you tell me he just got drunk with his cousin and came up with a fucking terrible idea and his cousin was in. Like that is a completely different situation.
Remaining son Buster
To get the
collect
life
on a
insurance.
$10 million life insurance policy.
$10 million?
Apparently, cousin Eddie wasn't up to the job because the gunshot
picture,
wound was just
National
a graze that
Lampoon.
temporarily blinded Alex. Eddie would also turn out to be
What
Alex's
the fuck?
oxycodone dealer. Alex later admitted that he stole
Well, how could you expect your drug dealer to actually kill you? You are literally one of his sources of income. Are you for real? Oh my god!
from his law partners and clients to fund his addiction to painkillers. According to
Hold on, then my dad's calling me about the Murdaugh shit that I just sent him with this. Hold on.
That's so funny.
Yeah, well, did you even know about all of the Murdaugh shit with his family? Like how his son is most
Murdaugh,
likely
not
responsible for
Murdoch.
deaths as well?
Yes.
You
And his son, like, was in the boat accident.
yeah, the boat.
Yeah, the whole deal. I mean, yeah, I know all the background of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then how he tried to set up, like, his own...
Yeah, cause I just got to that point. Cousin Eddie to like a
Oh
hitman
my
to shoot him
God.
for the life insurance
Yeah.
policy for Buster.
Seeing Charlie talk to his dad and just listening to them both have a good time, I don't know. There's something real wholesome about that. It's super weird that it's over this, but like, I don't look at this man smile right now as he's talking to his dad. Oh, that's so great.
Yeah, no, this whole family's rotten. Well, I haven't heard anything about
They
the
are
mother,
rotten.
so maybe she didn't do anything terrible. I have no idea.
for violent schemes.
Real quick though, was his plan actually to die? Like, did Alex Murdaugh hire cousin Eddie, goofball McGee?
I think
Red
so.
Blood-
I don't see, like, if he was talking about a $10 million life insurance policy, you're only getting that if you die. But at the same time, you're definitely not getting it if they find out in any way that you hired your drug dealer to kill you so someone would get the... that, I'm pretty sure they have a clause for that, buddy.
blooded patriot fucking wild maniac to come shoot him and kill him?
I think
That's
so.
wild. So his plan was actually to die.
Yeah, no, that was the plan for all of 5 minutes.
He said, "Come shoot me in the head," and then he survived. He's like, "Damn it, time to change plan."
Yeah, no, exactly. Cause yeah, literally that. Like, well, that was fucking close. I guess I don't actually want to die.
Wow. Hey, a lot of things can be said about Alex Murdaugh, but God damn it, he gave it 110%. This man was ready to literally kill himself, so that way his son could still have some
Not
fucking
kill himself. Not kill himself, because there might have been a specific in the clause. Most life insurance policies, when you set them up, there is some sort of suicide clause, and if it isn't in perpetuity, it at least is like, you know, suicide is not covered within the first 5 to 10 years. Like, it doesn't actually go to anyone. This is to deter people from opening life insurance policies just to kill themselves, so they can like pass something on to people. It's a way to, like, I don't know, combat against people committing suicide in some really fucked up way. So not kill himself, someone kill him. There's a very important legal distinction. But once he had the light shot out of him, he had seen the light, and he no longer was interested in pursuing that plan.
Cheated funds, $10 million life insurance policy.
The drug dealer. The trial's biggest bombshell was an unsent Snapchat
Yes,
video
this is the one that my
recovered from
dad was
Paul's
talking
phone.
about.
Alex told police
That was a fucked
he had
up
last seen
graphic.
his son and wife 90 minutes before he found their bodies. Several witnesses testified that they could hear Alex's voice in the background of the video.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Did the Snapchat video influence Alex's decision?
Okay, yeah, I mean, because you hear his wife say something, Paul is holding the phone, and you hear another male voice say, Bubba.
To testify on his own behalf? Almost certainly yes. The very first
Well,
thing
yeah, and I think that is very clearly his voice in the
Yeah.
Snapchat video. Very clearly.
Alex did on the witness stand was fess up that he lied about being at the kennels. Alex admitted it was his voice on the video.
Were you in fact at the kennels at 8:44 p.m. on the night Maggie and Paul were murdered?
I was.
Did you?
Okay, well, if that video was taken minutes before they were murdered, then you either saw the murderer, know way more about the murderer than you're sharing, or you were the murderer.
Well, then he absolutely just admits to a lie right there. I do want to point out, this man's got some wild hair coloration here. This looks like a weird slider in a Dark Souls creator. He looks like a French fry with like some cheese sauce on the top.
What the fuck?
That shit is going hard.
You lied to SLED Agent Owen and Deputy Laura Rutland on the night of June 7th.
I did lie to them. And I'm so sorry that I did.
Other than lying to them about going to the kennel, I was very
Holy
cooperative
shit.
in every aspect of this investigation. When Alex's brother Randy overheard Alex trying to bribe a nurse to let him use her phone, he thought it was suspicious. And brother Randy called the police, and the story began to unravel.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
SLED sketch artist and spent
Man, this guy just straight up looks evil. He looks actually soulless. Those are some hollow, empty devil eyes right there. 100%. Sometimes people just look the part.
I mean, he might be high as fuck right now. He's literally admitted he's addicted to painkillers.
But in an earlier interview with investigators, Alex had actually implicated his groundskeeper. He also told the jury that someone angry about the death of Mallory Beach committed the murders.
Oh my god. Dude, this guy's shameless. He will literally say anything. Oh my god. That is so fucked.
Inconsistencies undermined Alex's credibility.
Yeah.
Then there's the mess with Alex's financial crimes. The prosecution argued that Alex's financial crimes couldn't be separated from the murders because exposure of his vast financial crimes was one of the motives
speaks to his
for killing
characters.
Maggie and Paul.
Well, not only that, I imagine that also helps to demonstrate, like, make a character profile, right?
At 100%. Yeah, like characterizing a witness for the jury, like actually, or not a witness, a suspect. You know, like this is the type of the person this person is. So you have an understanding of where their morals might not line up with yours.
I don't know if that is actually something that's usable in court, but doesn't that also serve to poke holes in the credibility, since
I don't know if it's usable in court other than to convince a jury.
all of these financial crimes hinged on a bunch of lies and embezzlement and all of that? Or is that not allowed?
Every single one of these, you had to sit down and look someone in the eye and convince them that you were on their side when you were not.
Wow, that's hardball.
Do you
Holy
remember
shit.
even one of them?
If you ask me questions, but I can't remember sitting down with Dion.
Alex's response? What I admit is I misled them. I did wrong, and that I stole their money. What Prosecutor Waters was getting at was this. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Alex Murdaugh is sitting there and looking at you and
Damn.
trying to convince you of something, but you shouldn't believe him. Just look at how he lied in the past.
That's
Moreover,
strong
Alex
as
testified
fuck.
that all of his financial
Holy shit. So they just use it as a way to say, like, he is very capable of lying sincerely. Damn.
bad deeds were caused by his drug habit, which was costing him as much as $60,000 a week. As for the weapon,
How? I feel like that should kill a person. There's no way. How can a person... Maybe I don't understand. Maybe it's different things too. That still seems... That seems like too much. I don't... Like, how can a body physically handle that much? Maybe I think it's way more than it is. I don't know. Maybe that doesn't amount to a lot. I don't know what kind of... Like... I assume they do regular painkillers, but now I'm thinking they're like ultra mega rich painkillers. I don't even know. You take one and it's good for like the entire day, or maybe it's good for like the entire week. Fuck, I don't know. Fucking $60,000. Oh my god. Talk about I spend in a week what you make in a year, dude. Fuck.
weapons, prosecutors said casings for bullets from a .300 blackout rifle were found near Maggie's body. And the Murdaughs owned a rifle chambered in .300 blackout, and the weapon is now missing. Alex also couldn't account for the clothing he was wearing on the day of the murders. His clothes had never been found. His mother's caregiver testified that after the murders, Alex tried to remind her about what he was wearing.
I guess it's easy in hindsight, but I feel like...
Dude, oh, this is like the worst cover-up ever. Oh my, I really... This was the devolving. This was the de-evolution and the crashing down. Like, there was no way this was going to buy him any more than 5 minutes. Like, it was so haphazardly thrown together and so, like, no thought at any point of this, which I'm glad, because this needs to stop. This family needs to be re-examined, apparently, because all of them are wrapped up in shit. Fuck. I mean, just like, I don't know. They need to be stripped of their positions for sure. This is absolutely insane.
Like, even if I was in the court as this was unfolding, the second it came to that point, both of those in conjunction, I'd be like, well,
Guilty.
he fucking did it.
Yeah.
Oh, what kind of coincidence is that? Oh, so they were killed with 300 blackout rounds. Oh, you have a weapon with 300 blackout. That's a weird coincidence. Can you bring it in so we can just make sure, like, everything's, you know, all good? Oh,
It's
missing.
gone.
Well, what happened to it? Oh, you don't know. Oh. Okay, well, what about your clothes? Can we... like, the clothes you were wearing on that night?
Yeah.
Maybe they picked up some forensic evidence from...
Yeah, can we see some, like, running for gunshot residue, or, you know, see if there's anything else that would implicate it or whatever?
From the real killers. Oh, you lost your clothes. Are you telling me a burglar
Yeah, that happens all the time. People lose one outfit all the time. So, yeah, that makes sense.
came in the middle of the night while you were sleeping and took the fucking clothes off your back? Even your dirty goddamn undies. He took them? Oh. Like, what the fuck? This is outrageous.
The speed of the jury's verdict, just 3 hours of deliberation.
Oh,
after
nice.
a
It took
trial lasting
3 hours?
That's a gold split.
speed.
You know, I guess 3 hours really isn't that long, and it's a good thing that they did still talk about and weigh the options and shit. You're really supposed to, but, like, fuck. That's... That one, I feel like... So he's guilty, right? Yeah, he's guilty. He's fucking for sure guilty. And then they were like, maybe we should double check real quick because it does seem like a little too easy. I don't know if a court case has ever been this easy. It feels wrong. I don't want to get in trouble.
Speaks volumes.
Yeah.
The day after the verdict was read, Alex Murdaugh was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences for murdering his wife and son.
Good. Absolutely good. Deserves nothing less. Holy shit. That was wild. Thanks for watching, guys. Follow me on Twitch to join us live. Like and subscribe, and I will catch you later.